Greetings Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance, and today we take our first step into the world of dreams, where a brand new force is rewriting the battlefield. Her name is Somna. A controller unlike any other, and her first skill is already shaking the meta. Let's have a first look on her. So get ready, here's everything you need to know about her opening move. Lullaby Veil. This is where the dream begins. Or for your enemies, the nightmare. Lullaby Veil is a powerful control ability that puts all enemies to sleep for 7 full seconds. That means, silence. No skills, no movement, no dodging, your enemies are frozen in a dreamlike trance. But that's only the beginning. The sleep ends the moment they take damage. But Somna's brilliance is what happens next. The moment they wake up, they don't return to the fight at full strength. No, they're hit with a stack of Drowsiness, a unique debuff exclusive to Somna's kit. For 10 seconds, enemies with Drowsiness deal reduced physical damage. And since the effect stacks, if they wake up again and again, that weakness adds up fast. Now let's talk numbers. At max level, this skill applies physical damage reduction of 17,620, which is 25% of Somna's physical attack plus 3,000 flat. This isn't a cosmetic debuff, it's a serious nerf to enemy carries who rely on physical burst damage. Dante, Yasmin, Ishmael. If they wake up mid-fight with Drowsiness, their threat drops dramatically. And remember, the maximum number of Drowsiness stacks is 3. So over the course of battle, you're not just stunning your opponents, you're layering on a permanent damage penalty. So how do we use this skill effectively? You can cast Lullaby Veil early to interrupt enemy openers and force bad timing. Or you can wait, let them use key cooldowns, then shut the whole frontline down while your own team gets into position. The trick is coordination. Your allies must know not to instantly break the sleep with damage unless it's intentional. Wake them one by one, keep the pressure, stack Drowsiness, and dominate. Lullaby Veil is Somna's dream-weaving opener. It's not just about pausing the fight, it's about controlling the rhythm, weakening the punch of your opponents, and setting the tone for what's to come. This is not crowd control, this is battlefield orchestration. Stay with us, Guardians, as we move on to Somna's second skill in the next transmission. And if you're dreaming of victory, Somna might be your new favorite hero. Drowsy Blessing. At max level, this skill reduces armor penetration by 14,096, scaling off 20% of physical attack plus a flat 2,400. The effect is applied through the nearest ally positioned in front of Somna, who gains the ability to inflict 1 stack of Drowsiness to enemies they hit. This effect now weakens both the physical damage and the armor penetration of affected enemies. Let's break this down. For 12 seconds, the closest ally standing in front of Somna becomes a kind of Drowsiness transmitter. Every hit they land applies 1 stack of Drowsiness to the enemy. If this ally happens to be a Way of Mystery hero, the effect is slightly shorter, lasting only 8 seconds, but it refreshes more frequently thanks to faster attacks from that faction. What's powerful here is that Drowsiness doesn't just soften the target's blows, it now also cuts through their armor penetration. That means not only are they doing less damage, but their ability to ignore armor is weakened too. It's a double hit to their offensive output. This makes Drowsy Blessing a brilliant tool for disarming frontline physical attackers, especially those who rely on armor penetration to punch through tanks. Pair Somna with a fast-hitting Way of Mystery ally up front and you'll see this skill go to work immediately, spreading weakening debuffs and turning enemy frontliners into featherweights. And now we enter one of the most iconic parts of Somna's control kit, Curse of the Wall. The name already gives it away, but this skill is much more than just a funny animation, it's a tactical turning point that can decide entire battles. Here's how it works. Somna sends out a burst that applies 1 stack of drowsiness to all nearby enemies in front of her. At first, it deals decent physical damage, over 64,000 base damage plus scaling from her physical attack. But that's just the warm-up. The real power of Curse of the Wool comes when an enemy already has 3 stacks of drowsiness. When this skill lands on them, boom, they're instantly transformed into a sheep. Not stunned, not silenced, completely transformed. And here's what that means: a sheep can't use skills, can't attack, and all they can do is panic and try to flee. For 3 full seconds, that enemy is completely out of the fight. If it's a damage dealer, that's a massive break in enemy momentum. If it's a support hero, that's time you've just stolen from the enemy team's sustain. It's battlefield chaos. But in your favor. Now here's something important. Once the enemy returns to normal form, they can't be turned into a sheep again for the next 10 seconds. So timing is everything. This is not a spam and pray skill. You need to build those 3 stacks first with Lullaby Veil and Drowsy Blessing, then strike when the time is right. This ability rewards patience, control, and setup. And when used with precision, it doesn't just control enemies, it embarrasses them. It punishes over-aggression, neutralizes key threats, and buys precious time for your damage dealers to clear the board. Curse of the Wool isn't just hilarious, it's devastatingly effective when played right. Just when you thought you understood the battlefield, Silence of the Sheep flips the script completely. This isn't a skill you cast. It's a punishment. It's a trap. It's what happens when you dare to attack Somna. Whenever Somna takes damage, this skill kicks in, automatically applying 3 full stacks of drowsiness to the enemy who struck her. And if you've been following closely, you already know what that means. 3 stacks equals sheep. Instant transformation. So not only does the attacker lose control of their hero for a few seconds, but they also become a fluffy beacon of vulnerability, because while in sheep form, if an allied hero attacks them, they deal additional physical damage. That's right, your whole team now gets to pile on extra punishment while the enemy stumbles around as a terrified ball of wool. What makes Silence of the Sheep so powerful is that it doesn't require timing. It doesn't require energy. It's pure passive retribution. Try to burst Somna. You might end up with one of your strongest heroes turned into dinner for the wolves. This makes Somna a nightmare against high-frequency attackers like Kayla, Lara Croft, or even Julius. Hit her once, and you might lose control of your momentum. She turns aggressive strategies into sheepish regrets. And for the cherry on top, this skill deals over 55,000 physical damage with additional scaling based on Somna's health and physical attack. So it doesn't just disable. It bites back hard. It's one thing to stop enemies. It's another thing entirely to make them pay for every single hit. And Silence of the Sheep does exactly that. Pretty amazing skills, right, Guardians? Well, more to come. Let's take a closer look at Somna's base stats, and trust me, this is where things start to make a lot of sense. Her main stat is agility, sitting at 14,427. That's a huge indicator of her nature: fast, evasive, and reactive. She's not here to dish out heavy nukes like a traditional mage. She's here to manipulate, control, and outlast. Next up, intelligence at 3,440 and strength at 3,397. These are her secondary stats and serve mostly to round out her survivability and minor magic scaling. But don't get distracted, this isn't where her true power lies. Now, let's talk health, a solid 425,180. That's quite beefy for a midline control hero. And it's absolutely necessary, because Somna thrives when she stays alive. The longer she's on the field, the more sheep she summons, and the more pressure she puts on the enemy team. Her physical attack comes in at 58,438, and here's the twist, her damage is mostly physical. So this number is much more important than her magic attack, which only sits at 14,261. Don't let that fool you, this isn't a caster. This is a controller who punishes through physical damage and debuffs. When it comes to defense, she packs 23,950 armor, giving her strong resistance against physical hits, and 9,304 magic defense, which, while lower, is decent enough to keep her standing against spellcasters, especially when paired with the right support team. She has 1,120 armor penetration, which is modest, but enough to push through frontline resistances when her drowsiness effects weaken the enemy further. And then, we land on a golden stat, toughness, 5,017. That's a crucial number. Toughness reduces incoming damage when she's below 50% health, and this is where her survivability skyrockets. It gives her the edge to outlast assassins, maintain control under pressure, and trigger her devastating fourth skill again and again. So what does all this tell us? Somna isn't your typical damage dealer or glass cannon mage. She's a disruptive force with deceptive durability and deadly tricks. Her stats back that up completely: high agility, solid health, great armor, and just enough offense to punish anyone who underestimates her. If you're planning to build her, now you know exactly what you're working with. Strong base, reactive potential, and endless control. And that wraps it up for now, Guardians. But don't close your eyes just yet. In our next video, we're diving deep into how to build Somna correctly, because trust me, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this dream-weaving powerhouse. From artifacts to team synergy, you won't want to miss it. So don't fall asleep. Or you just might get turned into a sheep. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.